Yeah.
Too funny. Too
There were some longer ones, but I thought we would just go right to it.
Go for the gusto. Right. Well, we save. I didn't see it coming. I love when that happens.
Could you?
That's right.
How could you?
That's what's funny. Oh, Lord.
Well, Dennis, happy freaking New Year,
Yeah,
man.
2026, man.
20
Crazy.
26,
Right.
bro. It's like we're still alive.
Yeah.
Another year.
Yeah, I'll tell you. I wondered the other day. I walked my two granddaughters to school, which I do somewhat frequently, and I drive over there, and then I walk them 4 blocks, and across the street, a busy street, busiest street in town, in fact. Factually the busiest street. So we cross the red light. There's a guy there named Mr. Brown who helps us cross the street. And then you go to the school. Well, when I was coming back from taking them, it was a very slushy, frozen night the night before, but it was slush during the day before. And then the slush froze, and I was hard to walk on it. And so I thought, I know, I'm going to go this other way, which is quicker, actually, where there's 2 houses in the block that completely shovel their driveway. So there's no snow. So I'm walking treacherously, and I get to this first one, and little do I know that there's an absolutely transparent sheet of ice over the top of it. So when I take my first big stride on what I think is dry pavement, and I'm finally off the icy, slippery part, so I take a stride, my legs go out from under me, and I don't land. I land kind of on my butt, of course, but I landed with such force that my head fell backwards and collided with the sidewalk with just a shebang. And luckily I had on a winter hat and a winter hood, so it wasn't anywhere near bad as what it could have been. It could have been the difference between, who knows. I don't think it knocked me out, but I can't be sure.
So the sidewalk was okay?
The sidewalk cracked. The owner came out.
Fuck.
And
I'm so
just
sad about that.
Wanted my name, insurance information, etc., because she had every intention of collecting for the cracked sidewalk. I don't know what's wrong with people anymore. So anyway,
you're such a you're such a crack dealer.
Well, and she got on my case because she said, and this isn't, I don't want you sleeping out here, because after I hit, I laid there for a while to make sure that I could actually get up and I wasn't bleeding. And so she wants rent. And so I walked gingerly to my truck, which is a block and a half away, and realized that when I fell, my keys must have fallen out of my pocket. So I had to cross that goddamn busy street again, still agitated from the fall. And it hurt so bad as soon as it happened that I thought, oh my God, if this pain keeps up, I've got to go to the emergency care. But by the time I got to my truck, that pain was gone, which happens sometimes with blunt trauma, I think. Temporary. Now there's a lump there. So I'm like the character in Scrooged, Bill Murray's character, Lumpy.
So you have a more than your usual lump on your head.
Well, it's an interesting question. I know what my head feels like, but I've never seen it without any hair on it, so I don't know. But so
you've never shaved all the way?
My head?
Bald?
No. Nope, never in my life.
And when you said my head, you were
the part of my body above my neck.
Okay. But other parts of your body you have shaved all the way bald.
Like my balls
is what you're implying.
Like my junk? No, I never shaved my junk either.
Well, when I said have you shaved,
are you one of those guys that gets their assholes bleached?
When I asked if you had shaved all your all the way you were like, well,
No,
my head, no.
I've
As
never
if there were
shaved.
other
I've
parts
never
that
shaved my arm hair all the way, or my back hair, or my leg hair. No,
okay.
I've had surgery, so they shave some, but no, I don't do any of those things. But anyway, I don't
Well,
know
it is
how
a
we
new
got on
year,
that subject.
so
What's that?
it is a new year, so like who knows what could happen, right?
So here I am, and the only time I have pain, the first day I felt a little dizzy, so I laid down and took a nap, got something to eat. Woke up later, felt better, worked for another 2 hours. Today got up, slept a good 8 hours. Well, not a good 8 hours. I never sleep a good 8 hours. I'm up at least twice. But anyway, as I laid down to take my nap at 1 o'clock after I had a beautiful lunch at this local restaurant, very affordable, ate tuna fish melt on rye bread. So it's your wife in the room and bothering you a lot? Or you got that stupid fucking cat in there?
You-
As if the cat's not going to be distracting. As if
Is there a
as if that's
difference?
ever happened.
Is there a difference? Like the fucking so I thought, oh, I'll just give him a nice meal before we record. But now he's like all zoomy, and he's like up in the I don't know. Uh, yes, I apologize. Um, that's kind of wild that you. So this was how many days ago?
The fall.
Your fall?
Uh,
Yes.
Yesterday morning at 8 o'clock.
Okay. Okay.
So I googled definition of concussed and all the you've got a concussion or mild. There's three stages. Most definitions got three levels, but you just read your symptoms. Incoherence is one of them, and I thought, God, we're starting at such a low point. I'm not sure how much more incoherent I might otherwise be. My wife will attest to that. And eye problems and vomiting and the severe blah blah blah. And this was just a little dizziness, and because I was hungry, I just ate and it helped. And then I took a nap for an hour and a half and woke up and worked. So I figured if I was concussed at all, it's very mild, but it also states that sometimes the symptoms you can only see them for a day or two. And sure enough, today my symptom, which I hadn't had before, was when I'm laying down and I try to lift my head up, like to see my phone or to look at what time it is or whatever. I have this pain in my neck. And that's the only symptom I have. Which under a
Amazing.
hot shower tonight in a hot tub,
Yeah.
pretty good shape.
You lucky boy. You mentioned good night's sleep. I I've been last night I had the weirdest night of dreams in a while where it's like it was sort of this torture where like you're walking around the world and all the all the art on the walls are like slightly askew and everyone's clothes are slightly ill-fitting and everything is like just slightly wrong and I was just dreaming in this world where like every little thing was wrong in a little way, in a tiny little way, and it was just like, fuck, this is like like this is terrible. I've never experienced that sort of
It's so
dream before, but it was just like everything is
yeah.
slightly wrong.
So I tell you,
And but like if you wanted to like totally gaslight someone, you would like kidnap them and put them in a place that where everything is slightly just a little bit wrong. Anyway,
I wake up couple times a night, and I read in between. In fact, I'm reading my Christmas present, which by definition is a Pulitzer Prize winning novel I've never read, in which once again my son-in-law Dan.
You have a title?
The title is uh, Prodigal Prodigal Summer by Philip Roth. Prodigal, not Prodigal Summer. American Prodigal. I can't. Why don't I know? Well, you don't see the title once you start reading it. American Prodigal.
Sure.
But anyway,
Yes.
the story, the funny part of the story is, so I dream vividly, and because I wake up a couple times, I often remember my dreams. So the weirdest one that I want to share with you is that there was somehow a meeting. I was a government official. I had to leave a building, and I was going to take a plane, a small plane, which I've done before in my history, in fact. And when I went out to see the plane, I realized that it was a new kind of plane that not only had a regular plane, which was a sleek jet, but there was a other thing that was moving through the air like a helicopter thing, which was two wings of an airplane. And they were put together, almost looked like a boomerang, but they were straight across. So up above the airplane were these two wings revolving around. And I was heading toward it. And then I saw suddenly that my bandmate, Blake, who plays the bass, was standing too close to that twirling wings. And he was dressed in a Green Bay Packers football uniform. And he got hit and knocked down by the wing. And I woke up and I said, I'm not going back to sleep. I'm gonna.
Dreams are so dumb. Like
Where did that come from? It's amazing.
No one uh you should never share your dreams with anyone except for, like, I made an exception for my own because it was just a just
Sounds like a
no
Salvador
specifics
Dali
of
painting or one of these.
but like no one, like, sharing your dream with someone has never improved anyone's life. Like the listener or the speaker.
Is that the standard for telling people stuff? If it is, I'm really lacking. I mean, should you only share with somebody something that you think is going to improve their life? That's pretty limiting. I'm not sure.
Or be worth listening to.
Oh, well, that's
but then again, here we are.
That's
so,
a different standard.
So since we've spoken, my daughter had her entire visit here, her 2-week visit.
Oh, yes.
As I mentioned last time, I was excited that she was coming, and then we went down to Madrid, where we have this friend that we knew 20 years ago who has an apartment in the center of the city, but then also on the weekends typically goes away to some other town outside the city, but yet lets us stay and sleep in her apartment in the city.
Wow, what city?
like,
Madrid?
Madrid. So, like, I have not seen this woman in 16 years, and yet she saves us so much money by giving us a place to stay in the capital city of the country.
And how is the capital city? Booming? Compare it to an American city by way of size, complexity, building size, beauty.
Well, having just been to Manhattan, I have a comparison. This was like right before Christmas, and all the Christmas lights were up, and all the consumerism was just going at full throttle. And there were too many fucking people. Like there were fewer people in Manhattan just like walking on the
Really?
sidewalks than there were in Madrid. It
And
was
how big
just
are the buildings? The Manhattan size? Skyscrapers?
no.
I mean, more like Charlotte, Raleigh,
Closer to Charlotte, where there are like
big buildings.
there are six skyscrapers, and the rest are all 4 stories high ish.
And residential, what, townhouses,
And
apartments,
residential, yeah.
like what you
Residential,
live
but
in?
also business. Sort of, yes. But it was an annoying amount of people.
Yeah.
Like you couldn't walk in a straight line from where you wanted to from where you are to where you want to be because there's just too many fucking people in the way. In a way that like yes, in the busiest downtown Manhattan at the peak of people walking around, you have, but this was crazy.
But fun because you had a place to stay. That makes it fun. You got more cash in your pocket. Would you eat?
So as you may recall from my previous travels, I've been eating a lot of pizza lately.
Yeah.
I've been eating a lot of pizza.
Is that what you ate?
And
again?
So this was me and my wife and my son, and we were looking for the closest place to our apartment, and like there are foods that. Are you familiar with the concept of a high floor or a high ceiling or a low ceiling and a low floor? Like the worst pizza is still pretty good, but the best pizza is not as good as the best steak or whatever, or the best
That's
or
in
the
your,
best fish
in your
dish.
appetite.
In my opinion. So like I feel like there are better foods than the best pizza.
Yes, it's a good way to put it.
So
But having said that,
which is how I define pizza having a fair to medium ceiling, but also like the worst pizza is also not too bad, whereas the worst fish dish is there's a really good floor there,
inedible,
right? So but I had the worst pizza I've ever had.
Oh no!
Which like I said, it's a fairly high floor.
Right.
Like you can
so
eat
therefore, that was the setup. Oh Lord, you poor dear.
You can eat it. You can eat it, but it was.
And did everybody eat it?
Just.
You ordered.
It was
pizza
just
for the
really
3 of you?
bad. Yeah,
And they
but,
said the same thing.
And like yes, and like since then I've learned that I've been learning about pizza, and this place did this thing where you know those wire things that will cut a hard boiled egg into pieces.
Yeah.
So they had one of these, but they were taking fresh mozzarella balls and like shredding them with one of these devices. There's just wire going through it, and then they were using that to spread around the pizza.
Yeah.
And I've since learned that the proper Napolitana pizza, if you're going to use fresh mozzarella, you have to not spread. You can't cover the whole pizza because there's too much liquid in there, and it releases too much water, and it's too
The
soggy.
water, you're right.
But so for a good
Less
New
is
York
more.
style pizza, for a good New York style pizza, you need to use the dehydrated mozzarella
Right.
that has been
Packaged.
processed in a way that has sucked out all that water. Uh, and so these people were using like super wet mozzarella, but shredded, and it was just the whole thing. Like the dough felt undercooked. Like, I mean, the fact that I even say dough rather than crust, like the crust felt like dough,
Yeah.
and it was
The
just
crust was doughy. Crust is dough,
yes,
so therefore,
yeah. But it was like, and we were there watching them put the things into the stone oven,
yeah,
and
yeah,
like
yeah,
like
right,
it it looked like a real pizza place,
yeah,
but the product was like it's interesting to like now I have a new limit on the how shitty pizza can be.
yeah, right. You got a
And
new
yet, like I
floor.
said,
You have a new floor.
but right, but pizza has a high floor. So like you can still fucking eat it. You just but I
And did you eat
we
it and
didn't
leave
enjoy it.
some, or did you eat
Uh
it all? That's an important.
some was left. Some was
It was
left,
three of you
but
for
not.
26-inch pizza.
No, we each had our own pizza. Three pizzas. Uh
Did you eat all yours?
Eh, we were sharing, but yes, it got eaten.
Oh, I see.
So like
Well, that's sad. So where else did you eat? Let's change the environment here. You were there long enough to eat more than one meal. Where'd you go next?
see, not really, because we went there on a Saturday morning. We drove down, and then had we we had one meal,
The pizza.
and then yes, and then Sunday morning at like 5 a.m. we had to go to the airport to pick up my daughter and drive all the way back north. So we drove like 4 hours one day and 4 hours the other day.
So what'd you eat for breakfast?
We didn't at 4 a.m. We
What?
didn't have
But
any
then you
breakfast.
were driving and driving. Didn't you stop to eat something? It's the most important meal.
Uh, I mean, we stopped and had a coffee with milk and not even a pastry. I don't think it was. So it was. So we went down on the Saturday, and it was, and so we had a pizza for lunch or whatever, and then we went out to see the lights of the city for the Christmas lights or whatever, and I had asked my friend, uh, a friend who's from Morganton who lives in Madrid, hey, where should we go to see the cool lights? And she gave me some information, but then I asked ChatGPT, and I got a better like path of like you should go here and then there and then there and then there,
Yeah.
and so we did that. They were fine, and then we were walking back to the metro station to get our, or no, we were just walking back to the apartment, and we walked by a theater that was showing a play in like 15 minutes. And my wife was like, "Hey, I recognize some of those actors. Hey, you want to go to the theater?" And so we walked across the street and bought tickets 10 minutes before the show
Isn't
started,
that so?
and went to a
Good for
and went
you.
to a fucking theater play. Like that's like that's what I learned in New York is that's the sort of shit that you need to just embrace in life and just be
Right.
like,
Just
we're
let
in
it
the big
happen.
city.
So
Let's
yeah,
go see a fucking show.
that story reminds me of I watched the 2025 Rock and Roll Hall of Fame induction last night, and Warren Zevon was inducted by David Letterman, who Zevon appeared on David Letterman. I don't quote me, but I think like 16 times, and he just loved his music. And he brought him in, and he played with Paul Schaefer, and then he was diagnosed with lung cancer, and he did an interview with him, and they did a show. He said it was the hardest show he ever did. And when they went into the dressing room to thank him for coming, he took his beautiful blue guitar, put it in a case, and handed it to Letterman and said, "I want you to take care of this for me." And Letterman burst into tears, sobbing, and hugged him. And so Letterman, at the induction ceremony, had on the stage on the guitar stand that guitar. And when he was done telling the
Fuck.
story and inducting Warren Zevon, he handed the guitar to the guitar player who's going to play it and said, "I want you to take care of this thing." And the guy strapped it on, and they went out and they played Lawyers, Guns, and Money, and just killed it. Just killed it. And during
Wow.
the whole first part of it, they had all these shots and videos of Warren Zevon playing at all stages in his career, and interviews by Bruce Springsteen, who loved him, and Tom, you're not Tom Petty, but oh, just a bunch of people. I don't have to remember them all, but anyway,
Right.
it was very wonderful. And then then they did Lawyers, Guns, and Money, and the guy who was singing it was just stellar. Um, and I don't know what they went into. The next they went into Werewolf of London, I think was the next one. They did
Right.
three. But the thing that he said to Letterman, that Letterman repeated before he handed over the guitar, he said, "So you saw in that last interview that I, we watched it," and Letterman said, "So you've got this big thing that happened to you, and it changes your life. And so what about that?" And he said, "Well, blah blah blah." He said, "But it just reminds you, you've got to enjoy every sandwich."
Yes. Enjoy every sandwich.
And so
That's our episode title.
Letterman used that to conclude his induction in memory of Warren Zevon, and said to everyone, he gave the guy the guitar, and he turned to the audience and he said, "Just remember, enjoy every sandwich." It was so compassionate. And
That is such, yes. That is my philosophy of life. Like, yes, fucking enjoy every sandwich.
so
I love it.
put this on your list and we'll talk about it. There's a movie called On Time with Damahill Gleason. And oh no, your favorite, Rachel McAdams. And it's
Oh no! That's my favorite fucking movie. Oh, you're talking about Time?
yes, it's your
That's my
favorite
favorite
movie
fucking movie.
with
Let's talk.
Nagy.
Let's fucking talk about it.
Oh yeah,
I
I
love
saw
that
it for the
movie.
first time. I clicked it. I didn't know anything about it, but I like Gleason. I didn't know Rachel McAdams was
Yes.
in it, and I love what's Nagy.
Yeah.
What's his first name?
The old guy.
Yeah, Phil,
Or
not Philip. John, no, Walter, no,
that 1990 Bill Nye.
Bill Nye.
Bill Nye.
Yeah.
Yes. That that is one of my favorite movies.
And isn't it
Like
interesting
that is
that Rachel McAdams
that's
also starred in the other movie with Dana?
yes. Yes. But this
Excuse me.
is About Time is
It's the
my peak.
sweetest movie.
It's my peak Rachel McAdams crush movie. Like she's so fucking cute, and it's it's one of the best time travel, like, of all the time travel movies, this one holds up really well
And it's not
in
tragic.
the concept.
It's not
Eh,
tragic. Like many of them are tragic or adventure.
yeah,
This was just all sentimental and just wonderful, wonderful plot, wonderful writing, wonderful screenplay, wonderful acting. The woman who played his sister was when
oh,
when he met
adorable
when she met his didn't know it at the
friend.
time
Yeah,
was his wife. He said, and just take it easy because you hadn't met her before, so you didn't know the character. And he said, just
right.
take it easy. And she ran into the room and jumped on the couch where Rachel's character was sitting and just kissed her in a million places all over her face.
Yes, 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 yes,
And
yes.
and it was delightful. And his love and concern for her and what he did.
This is one of my favorite movies. I will talk to you for hours about this movie. The I love I love the initial where they meet in in the no light restaurant, but then erases that for her, and so she no longer has any memory of that. But that's his memory of that, and
I
and
didn't. I missed the
the
front
whole
part of it. Why did he do that? I tuned in after they were
uh
walking to her.
oh, okay, well, because like they had a beautiful meeting, and then uh he couldn't get a hold of her again, and so he was forced to travel back in time to recuperate, to, to meet her again.
Because he did it. He
And
didn't get
then
her number.
it was something like that. Well, no, he did get her number, but then I forget the exact details. But and then the whole like you're like you're having sex for the first time, and you're like, I'm gonna I could have done better. I'm gonna go back and do that
I
again.
remember the sex. He did that, but you're
Well,
not
but,
talking about that. You're talking about the meeting.
well, no, but well, when they first had sex, uh, she was like, well, that was okay,
No,
and he
no.
was like,
She actually was. He was like, "I'll do better next time," and she said, I thought it was lovely. So she was.
yeah, yeah,
She
yeah.
wasn't
No,
nonchalant about it or in any way critical.
but no, but the fact that he went back and did it like
Three
4 or 5
times.
times,
And then she said to him, she said to him,
then she was like, how are you so tired after the first time
she said to
or
him,
whatever? Anyway,
she said to him, so I hope you're up for more of this. And he says, I'm not sure that's altogether fair. It was an
something like that.
inside
Yes.
joke. And wasn't it interesting in the plot that his dad and him, he
Yeah.
and his
Well,
dad never divulged to anyone except his sister, never divulged to anyone.
it's really good writing. Like
Their
that whole
wives
concept.
didn't know it. His wife of obviously, sometime 30, at
Right.
least 35 years, 40 years of marriage. And she was an excellent actress. Um, but the plot twist where he got her not to meet the guy who ended up such a poisonous relationship that she started
Right.
drinking and they
Right.
had a car wreck and he had to
Yeah.
change it back because, as his dad explained later, if you go back before you have sex, that the millions of sperm that are there
Yeah.
and
Yep.
all the different uh, complexities of the process of the pregnancy process was you couldn't duplicate it. And when
which
he
I love
returned
so much
home,
because
he returned home and he had a little boy,
yeah,
and big chunky boy, which he ended up having that boy later. You realize that his third child was that boy.
yeah.
Yeah,
I love that. I love that math. That bit of logic that they applied to it of, oh, you can't once you've had, because imagine having a kid and then doing something and now you have a totally different kid, and it's like,
he wanted
well, that's,
Posey.
yeah, but it's like, uh whatever probabilities led up to you having the kid that you have, you wouldn't ever roll those dice again because now
Right.
you love that kid,
So
right?
interestingly enough,
And
his son inherited his genetic ability to travel in time, and so the it could be a there could be a sequel.
yep,
Now, Domhnall Gleeson, his father is Brendan Gleeson, correct?
I
Brendan
don't know
Gleeson is one
much
of my favorite
about
actors of all
him.
time. He played the sheriff in
Brendan Gleeson,
Gangs
yes.
of New York, among other things.
Oh,
He also played with
every fucking thing.
oh
Yes,
the Irish based movie with Colin Farrell,
he,
where
he was in Braveheart. He was Michael Collins. He was like, he is the big
he was
Irish
the
guy.
friend in Braveheart
Yeah,
when
yeah,
he
yeah.
was young. And his
Gangs of
father,
New York,
interestingly
Cold
enough,
Mountain.
uh, just the resemblance was astounding. But anyway, that's his son.
I didn't know that with his father. Wow. So this okay, cool. That's amazing. Yes, so fantastic. Like, I'm glad that you've seen that movie. It holds up when you watch it again and again because it uh of all the time travel movies, it's just coherent. It's both like, I'm sure there are problems with it, but it feels very scientifically coherent and also dramatic in a way that other time travel movies are like, yeah, so they got the time travel right, but I don't care about any of these characters.
So
Whereas here,
how wonderful when he went back to say goodbye to his dad because he decided to have the third child, and his father
yes, and
said,
his father knew.
"If we don't change anything, we shouldn't cause any trouble. But come on with me." And they went in the closet and they traveled back to his favorite day with his son at the beach. And the young lad,
That's why I love that movie.
the young lad sang to him at that ended the movie. Thanks, Dad. Wow.
Yeah, I cry like a baby at that movie.
Wow.
That shit is deep.
So I saved it. It's on my video recording, and I'm going to watch it again soon with my wife.
You can
But
watch it from the beginning and understand
yeah,
how they
yes,
met and whatnot.
that first part.
And how, what an amazing, like, uh how much must you love someone to then have Margot fucking Robbie uh interested in you and be like, nah, I'm gonna go with this other girl. Like,
And
because
knowing, of course, that he meant to
because
marry.
Because Margot Robbie
It,
is the objectively prettiest Hollywood person
Funny,
like
funny,
around,
funny
right?
scene when he had so-called romantic music in the background, and she told him after she said yes how much she hated being around people, and we did not know that he had a full band in the other room with a woman singer. And he whispered to him, "She's not in the mood. Could you just leave?"
Yes.
Oh, just hilarious.
Everything about that movie I adore. So
Now
that's fine.
he was in another movie that
He's been in lots.
starred Isaac Jacobs, or is that his name? Uh,
I know who you're talking about.
Isaac. He was with Jessica Chastain in that Lovers movie there.
Yeah. I know who you're talking
And
about.
what was the name of that series?
That was a remake of Scenes from a Marriage.
Scenes from a Marriage. Yeah. Anyway,
Amazing.
Isaac. His last name is Isaac. Isaacs.
Yes.
Anyway, he plays a a genius guy who builds robots, and I believe it's called Ex Machina. And
Ex Machina. Yep.
and the student who gets the internship there is Domhnall Gleeson.
Yes. Yep.
And
I've seen that movie.
That movie,
Another great
boy,
movie.
did he earn his chops in that movie. And Isaacs was, you couldn't take your eyes off him. He just chewed up scenery. He was so enigmatic. So
all
powerful.
three of those actors, the actress as well.
Anna.
She's a Swedish.
And she also was in
Machina.
what other movie was she in?
Lots of stuff, but Alicia Vikander.
Yes, she was in her own series.
Oscar Isaac.
Oscar Isaac. No S?
No S.
Yeah, so I'm going to watch Scenes of a Marriage again. What else?
Yeah, that I'd be curious to watch the original now that we've seen
who is in it? Do you know anything about it?
Yes.
The original? You do?
Yeah. Yes, it is. Well, the original is from 1974. I thought it was more known people. It's directed by Ingmar Bergman, and it got some people. The actual actors don't ring any bells for me.
Where are they?
Liv Ullmann
God.
and Erland Jofferson.
Sure.
And B.B. Anderson and Gunnel Lindblom.
Liv Ullmann. I remember her. Well,
Liv Ullmann, yeah.
So back to the future, the time travel stuff. Now, by comparison, you and I've already mentioned the other time traveler movie that Rachel McAdams was in, which was in many ways a completely different kind of story in many ways, but
completely.
in my estimation of movies, one of my favorite, just like this one is now. Right? So quality,
yes,
good acting, good plot, credible, tragic, but with the twist, which is an interesting twist considering about time, is that the twist in that was that he did meet his daughter, and the fact that she ended up having sex with a version of him before he had his hysterectomy, and she ended up cheating on him with him when he was 38 as opposed to 42 or 43. And it was a
Yeah.
secret. And then he found out about it. But as it turns out, his progeny was produced, and she was a delightful little actress. That's one of the reasons that I mentioned that About Time could have a sequel, because his son carries it on. You know,
Have we talked about the movie Predestination? Predestination.
I can't recall.
It's you would it stars Ethan Hawke and Sarah Snook from
It's a new movie.
No.
No?
No,
Succession. She started
from Succession. It's from 2014.
Oh.
If you can find that and watch that, I will talk to you about that.
Predestination.
Predestination.
Let me make a note.
It's one of the more what the fuck time travel movies ever. But I do have a little story about to follow up to my trip to Madrid. So we went to this play. It was a fine play. The general premise was it was two couples, one and they were getting together to meet about how we want to have a civil discussion about how your son, your 11-year-old son, smacked my 11-year-old son with a stick and broke his teeth. And we want to talk about how, like, there's blame to be had on different parts, and like we want to be reasonable about this, and etc. And then, as you might imagine, it all spins out from there. And about halfway through, you know the playwright's rule about Chekhov's gun or whatever, where if there's a gun on stage at all, at some point it has to be fired.
No.
Have you heard this?
I never heard that.
Yeah, there's a concept. And here they had this bottle of booze in the corner, and about halfway through they start serving each other drinks of rum, and they do the most amazing job of playing really drunk, and they all slowly get even drunker and drunker and drunker, and they anyway, it was a okay play.
Did you suspect that they were drinking?
No, they're acting. No, it's all acting. It's all just tea.
Yeah.
But amazing acting.
Yeah.
But they managed to time it so that exactly at the end of the play, the bottle ran out. Like, so they were serving exactly the right amount each time,
right.
Knowing that they needed to run out at the end of the play.
Right.
Which I was like, that's pretty well done. So that was like an hour and a half. And then we went back to the apartment and we went to bed, and we got up at like 4 a.m. so we could go to the airport to pick up my daughter, who was arriving at 5 a.m. And then we got in the car and drove up north. And we ran into this crazy fucking snowstorm. So coming out of Madrid, there's this big mountain thing you have to go up. And then you're on the sort of plateau, and then you sort of get back over to where we are, and then you come back down. And I had to drive at 5 a.m. in the dark through this crazy
Oh boy.
snowstorm in a car that doesn't have snow tires on it. Uh, and I mean, I know this is just every day in December for
Oh
you, but
sure.
it was, but it was super nerve wracking because it takes 100% of your attention to just be like,
Yeah, right.
to just stay on the fucking
And you
road
got to
and
watch
not
the
make a
lines.
too strong of a
You got to
turn.
drive by the
Got to
lines.
watch the lines, and the lines were getting blurred because there's snow. And at one point, we were following a big snowplow truck.
Oh God.
I was like the fifth car back behind a snowplow, and
That's
that it was
bad.
driving along, and we were, and it was, and then there was a snowplow behind me at one
Oh
point,
Lord.
and it was
How long was this terrible part?
this bit was like an hour and a half
That's a
of
long
just
time. That's a long
of
time.
just
White
constant
knuckle.
fucking tration.
White knuckle driving.
And
Well, we've
yeah,
had
and then and then like at 7 a.m. you notice that the sky is lighter, but it's still all like overcast, dark and gray. And anyway, it was quite an adventure coming back. And
really.
then when we got closer to home, there was even more snow. That we
So
got to
have
drive
we
through.
talked since Nikki and I traveled to Muskegon, Michigan, and all the snow and
You
the.
do often. I feel I feel like you did
I think
that in early December.
that yeah, that's right. That's right. Well, we
Yeah.
have we
So
have another trip planned. We're going to Marshall, which is on the way to Detroit. It's about 45 minutes from here, and they have a ice blues festival, and they're featuring an artist I've read about called Albert Brooks, who I may have uh, I may have heard him playing with his father here at the Michigan State Theater some years ago, but now
Not to be
he's
confused with the comic.
um, Albert Brooks, the writer who created the format for Saturday Night Live, that Rob Reiner
Yeah,
did a
that guy.
docu interview. Did you
Yes,
see
yes,
that?
that guy. I have. Yes, I think we've talked
We
about
have
it. Yeah.
talked about it. Yeah. So
So another guy
anyway, so
whose
we're going to this blues thing.
whose parents who he changed his name to Albert Brooks because his parents had originally named him his original name was Albert Einstein.
Yeah.
What a dumb story that is.
Why? And I remember him looking at the camera and saying, "Why did they do that? Why would anybody do that?"
If your name is Einstein, what should you name your child? Yeah.
Albert. Oh Lord. Yeah, so that's going to be fun. I was going to go fishing because now the weather has, after sub-zero wind chill weather and terrible snowy conditions, all the snow's almost gone. It's 38, 40 degrees today, 41, 42. And Thursday, tomorrow, it's supposed to be 46. And so I'm actually breaking out the
It's
rake
toasty.
to break up the leaves that fell after the snow, which is always such a mess. And grass killing, just
Snow leaves.
a solid sheet of leaf that, blocks off any potential sunshine. It just shit won't grow under it. But been working on the house that we're selling, and I'm working on a cedar closet. And the cedar closet, I searched and searched and searched and finally found 4 by 8 foot sheets of 1/8
You searched and
inch
searched.
thick cedar. And I had to
And first
order it from a place out in the middle of nowhere around here called Menon, where it's in Amish country, and the woman behind the counter was a young Amish girl. And anyway, I drove out there, I got it, And I said to the guy, I was hungry, and I said, hey, is there any place nearby? And he said, yeah, go up to the Marathon gas station right up on the corner, and they have a deli. And I walk in the deli, and sure enough, they have this bin of chopped up steak, some pieces with fat, some pieces without, and it's cubed. And it's cooked in some type of a sauce, not particularly sweet. And they sell it by the pound. And they also had homemade summer sausage with mozzarella that they made. Just delectable. So I got to
Amazing.
eat and come back. And so I had to cut those 3 pieces of 4 by 8 foot plywood into 11 pieces.
Cedar.
Cedar. It's pulverized cedar and it's reconstituted. So it's a veneer. So what the way they make.
Does the word plywood imply a wood? Like,
yes, but
can plywood be oak? Can plywood be
birch?
Plywood can be any type of wood.
Birch, pine, poplar.
So what does the term plywood mean?
Plywood refers to the fact that a piece of plywood is layered. It typically has a backing that's one material and a front, which is another material, and they compress it. And in the case of much of the wood, like the cedar, for example, is that they either shave boards 1/16 of an inch thick, and they attach that to a backboard, and it's called aromatic cedar because it has the cedar smell. But I cut that into 11 pieces because the closet's all angles. It's a ceiling that gets lower to the back of the closet. When you get to the back of the closet, it's only 29 inches tall. Great place for a shoe rack, for example. But anyway, I had to figure all that out and cut it, and I was short a $74 piece of this plywood, and I thought, what am I going to do? And I took the cedar fencing, a cedar fence panel that I had used for parts and left over at my buddy's garage, and I went to get it, and I had exactly the number of cedar boards that I needed to cover the space that I was missing, which was 4 foot tall and 42 inches wide. I needed 16 boards, and there were exactly 16 boards. And I told my wife today, I said, this is the story. I don't throw anything out. I conserve. And this is the universe paying me back.
Amen.
Amen. Amen.
I said, hey, man, but also I meant to say amen, because God is good and God has given you back your conserved boards because
my cedar boards. Oh, well, so the on the Mojo news, and then I gotta go. We ended up grabbing. We're doing this new thing where we looked at popular songs over decades, the 60s, the 70s, the 50s, 60s, 70s, and we plugged in tunes where we were short. And so we're getting ready for we're playing from February 14th. Our opening gig this year is Valentine's Day at the Old Dog Tavern downtown, where we're playing 4 times this year. And so we pulled together a bunch of new music, and the lead guitar player, my son-in-law Justin, he picked tunes that he loves and he loves to play, and as he should, because he would never say this. He doesn't like me to say this, but he is such a great talent in this band. But listen to the titles of these editions. Mustang Sally, You Shook Me by the Commitments, You Shook Me All Night Long, AC/DC, Smooth by Santana, Blister in the
Yep.
Sun by the Violent Femmes, LaGrange
Yep.
by ZZ Top. Those
Oh,
are
ho, ho,
those
ho,
are,
ho, ho.
and I'm learning that tonight. I'm seeing that. I've been listening to it nonstop. But the other
Oh,
one
ho, ho, ho.
that I want you to hear, and look this up and maybe put it in the show notes, is the version of Crossroads by Slash, because that's the version that we're doing, and so it's great. It's great. And as you may recall,
Crossroads being a Clapton song.
yes, a Clapton song, but before that,
but
Robert Johnson.
before that, it must have been an older
Robert Johnson,
Yeah.
I believe.
Yeah.
It's
Okay.
Robert
There you
Johnson.
go. All the way back.
But it's got an interesting change up in it where it goes into slow blues, and it's very unique in that regard. And there's a piece in it, although
Put that in the show notes.
although they don't do it, we're gonna add a little harp to it. But the story that I'm gonna tell before this is one you've heard, and it's a story where I was hitchhiking in Oklahoma, and the state trooper took down all my information, details, weight, height, and when I asked him if there was a log in hitchhiking, he said, "No, I just want to get your description, because recently there was somebody killed him and cut him up into different parts and had his body strewn all over the place. And so it was just hell to try to figure out who it was. And now that I've got your description, we won't have that problem if it happens to you." And he said, "Have a good night." And he let me out of the car.